What's up, everybody? Today we got Richie from the Richie T Podcast, local here to San Antonio, which is dope AF.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a lot of things. I've got 3 to 5 questions. We'll see how many we get through, all based around the music scene here. Y'all can see I'm holding this thing. We got some extra special stuff that we're going to be doing. Yeah, set up podcast style.
Ronnie James Dio style, man.
Oh, yes, sir. So, first off, a couple of shout-outs. Cheater Slick Culture is one of our sponsors. Thank you guys very much. If you're into old school hot rods, rock and roll, and metal, go check them out. Secondly, thank you to Wardrome Studios. We are entering a partnership with those guys, and it could not be working more beautifully, I don't think. Wavestream Live, if you haven't checked it out yet, go check it out. It's Wavestream Live, that easy, all over social media. We've got show postings there, ticket links, lots of exciting stuff coming down the pipe. And Richie actually was here this past week for one of them. We had the Monster Metal Mixer. What'd you think of it, man?
I thought it was awesome, bro. I mean, it was an eye-opening experience for me because this is the first kind of deal that me being involved in like a studio atmosphere kind of thing. Yeah. And
we do that a lot out here.
Yeah, and it's very much a good vibe. The whole thing was a good vibe that night. We had friends coming in. Mute Texas are hometown friends of mine from where I'm from in Pearsall.
Nice.
So shout out to Pearsall.
Yeah.
and so, I mean, it was just a great vibe all the way around, man. And I love what you guys are doing here. It's a great little thing to start getting everybody involved in the metal community.
I love exactly the way you said that. Because I tell people we'll get asked all the time, what are the shows like? How big is the space? And I tell them this. It is exactly if you were to take the house shows that were like real popular from 04 to 07 time frame,
right.
and put a lot of money into it and make it look and sound really awesome. That's about exactly what you get. And people seem to really like that.
Yeah,
it's real up close and personal.
Yeah, real intimate.
Real intimate, right.
Intimate,
We dial the
vibe.
sound in really nice both here and on the stream, and it's gaining a lot of traction. I'm glad you had fun at the mixer.
That was great, man. I had a great time. It was fun getting to know you guys for just meeting you guys for the first time that night. And,
likewise.
And getting the feel for the vibe and the setup in here, man. It was just really great. Really awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you. Happy for y'all.
Thank you. Yeah, we are excited about the future too. This whole year is just slam packed, man. It's crazy. And I'm working like my 9 to 5 IT job from in here.
Right.
So it'll be like show call, IT call, show call, IT call.
Yeah.
It gets nuts as hell.
I bet. Yeah.
So into some of the questions, we'll start with one and just see how much I tend to ADHD all over the place during these.
It's fine.
So just let it roll.
Yeah,
we'll fix that shit in post.
We'll fix it in the edit, man.
Yeah. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about, because recently, like, I've been exposed to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every single person I meet, whether I go to Come and Take It Live, and there are people from San Antonio out there, whether I go to Vibes, the Rock Box, I even at the Coliseum and the bigger places like Techport Arena, had some people coming up to me saying they've been involved in the scene for forever. And me and Rhett talk to just about everybody every time we go out. But Bond's Rock Bar. Yeah. Bond's Rock Bar seems to be the spot for local metal in San Antonio. Right. And I want to emphasize when I say the spot, right? Because I really mean it seems like every city has their metal scene. Mm-hmm. Every metal scene has that core group of people that are just the metal family. Right. And they seem to hang out at Bond's Rock Bar.
Yes, they do. Mm-hmm.
I caught the Convalescence there. With Casket Robbery. Ammo for my arsenal. And and a couple of other bands, right? My first time at Bonds, it was a great environment.
Yes.
It sounded really good in there.
They have a great sound there.
They have an awesome sound. The lights were great. There is that one beam, like, right in the middle of the...
Yeah, that's the only thing that gets you.
Yeah!
Yeah,
but other than that...
But it's good, though.
Great experience.
Yeah.
Great time. And the people were really nice. Like, no one was a dickhead behind the bar, you know what I mean?
Those guys are pretty cool to me every time I go there. They're
So you have been to a few
shows?
shows
Yeah,
there.
I've done a few interviews out there at that spot and at Fitzgerald's. Bonds is just, that's to me, that's the epitome of what the local scene's about, because you have all different types of genres that play there.
I have noticed that.
Yeah,
the flyers are vast.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. There's a lot of promotional guys that are here in town. MJ Loudermilk's one of them.
Yep.
Here in their promotions, Brandon Hauser's another guy.
Yeah,
that I've worked with.
I talked to Brandon for a while at the Convalescent show.
Yeah, and he pushes ammo for my arsenal, which I've interviewed as well. They're really, everybody's a really good tight knit community when you go there. And they just they recognize you right from the very beginning. You walk in, if you go there as many times as you go, as I go or whatever, they're like, hey Richie, what's up, man? Kind of thing.
Even coming up here in the real soon future, they've got a lot of awesome shows coming.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
I will probably be at a few of them, and to be honest, I'm a huge Vibes Underground guy.
I haven't been to Vibes yet. I have not been to Vibes yet. I've been wanting to go.
I saw August Burns Red. It was very epic.
I haven't been in Vibes yet, but I heard it's really well put together there too.
Yeah.
So is what was it?
The Rock Box.
Rock Box
connected
is another
to
one.
it.
Yeah. So everything.
See, I haven't seen a show on the Rock Box side yet.
Oh, okay.
But I've been to two at Vibes. One at the Freeman Coliseum. I call it Lamb of God, and that show out there. But the two that I want to talk about locally, and this is kind of, here we go, we're about to ADHD a little bit.
Right.
But the two I want to talk about recently, since we have put out like podcast material, are the August Burns Red show with Devil Wears Prada and Bleed From Within. Woo!
Yeah.
Dude, Bleed From Within, we all got pictures with the singer from Bleed From Within.
Very cool.
And dude, no one steals a show when you're seeing August Burns Red. Right. They have, I tell this story all the time, they have one of my top ever crowd reactions I've ever seen. Right after COVID, I took my wife to Blue Ridge Rock Festival with me. And I put us in a spot where I thought we were far enough back. Nah, dude, when August Burns Red came out, the whole crowd just exploded.
Right.
And it got way too real. We had to exfil out of there. But this past time, so with that being said, August Burns Red absolutely crushed the show at Vibes. But Bleed From Within, I've been fucking that up all over the place. If there was a stolen show moment, like, dude, their singer got out in the crowd and they were holding him up and shit. Dude, they absolutely crushed it. I've never been a huge Devil Wears Prada guy.
They're kind of growing on me a little bit. I always try to give music that I have not been exposed to
A real shot. They're great musicians.
Yeah, they are.
They
They're
absolutely
great.
killed their set.
Oh yeah.
It was a little poppy for my taste, but they had one of the coolest intros ever. All the lights went out and this robot voice came on. And it was like, you may now commence to open the fucking pigs. and then they came out and everybody went crazy.
Nice.
It was really cool, man. Their set was really good.
That's cool.
But Bleed From Within and August Burns Red, in my opinion, just annihilated that show.
Oh yeah. I wasn't there, but I hear good things about those both of those bands, and I do give them, you know, the props just to get out on stage.
Sure.
And do their thing, you know, and I give everybody that picks up an instrument.
Yeah, for a long time now too. I think that tour was the 20th anniversary for August. I know, makes
us feel old.
We don't even need to go there.
No.
Yeah, I remember jamming out to them way back in the day.
Yeah.
But the other show was out at Come and Take It Live. And again, it's just so crazy that I go all the way to Austin and I still talk to people that bring up Bond's Rock Bar.
Yeah.
It's nuts, dude.
Yeah, Bond's is a really good place, man. And I can't say enough nice things about that place, man. I mean, it's a staple for
it. Seems to be, that's what everybody says. Mm-hmm. I mean, you talk to anybody that's anybody around here that likes metal music, and they say the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's a staple, and it's a part of. They've been around San Antonio for a lot of years, man.
Yeah.
And you know, ever since I remember.
You know, the other one I always hear is the White Rabbit.
White Rabbit is now the Paper
Tiger,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. But White Rabbit back in the day, they had some amazing shows. They had Exodus at one point. They had Danzig. They had.
I've seen pictures of that stage, dude.
It was back then. I mean, it's still the same stage, but I think ever since they renovated the place, it's a little different now. But when I went to the White Rabbit originally back in the '90s, it was.
Oh damn! So it's been around.
It's been around a long time. It's been around a really long time.
Okay.
Yeah, when it was the White Rabbit back then, that area where the main area where the stage is, the main stage, that was there. But before they knocked down and made that bathroom there or whatever, I think, and added that second stage toward the back, that was it was a connecting backstage room.
Oh, okay.
And there was just a little mini stage in there.
Yeah.
And a lot of local bands opened for the main headliners in that room. In that room.
Oh, that's badass.
And it all connected. You had to go walk past the main stage, through a little hallway and through a door, and then boom, the stage and the little area was right there.
That's crazy.
And
cool.
now it's completely changed, obviously, since they added that whole big outside patio kind of vibe that they got, the tables out there.
See, I still need to make it down there too. Smoke break. But yeah, dude, I mean, that's another one that everyone I talk to, if they're like the older guys, they always talk about the Rabbit.
The Rabbit before it was Paper Tiger, it was a really cool place to.
I still need to go to Paper Tiger. I haven't been down there yet.
Yeah, the last time I was there, I think I went to go and interview a few bands. It was last year actually. It was during Memorial Day Metal Fest that weekend, and because they were across the street at the Mix.
Oh, okay. Year. Yeah.
And then I was doing a few interviews at Paper Tiger the day before I did my Memorial Day thing. So it was conjoined for that podcast. But
nice.
And yeah, it's been about a year. I interviewed some local kids that were there. I forget who it was. My memory is so shot too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but Holy Hell was a part of that show, and they're good friends of mine. Alfred and Pete are really good friends.
They also played the Convalescent show.
Yeah,
I think they did. Yeah, they were good, man. They played first and crushed it. I got real good pics of those dudes.
Yeah, they're really good friends of mine, and now Alfred just an amazing vocal. Pete, amazing guitar player, and they got some new. They have a new bass player. And Jack, he's with To Witness a Murder as well.
Oh, okay.
And he does a great job on bass. And good overall. And congratulations to them. They just got recently signed to EMI.
Boom!
So I had to throw a shout out to them. And I've been meaning to get back with Alfred and get a new interview with those guys pretty soon. So
line that up for sure.
Yeah, man. So. But other than that, man, Paper Tiger, man, it's a good venue, man. I've had no complaints when I've gone.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of good venues, man. Around here.
Dude, there's a bunch around here. The other show I was going to tell you about was Come and Take It Live in Austin, and it was the Acacia Strain and Fit for an Autopsy.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
yeah, those guys killed it, man.
The Acacia Strain stole that show, in my opinion. And I went there for Fit for an Autopsy because they opened at the Coliseum for Lamb of God.
Yeah, that's right.
So and they crushed it. So I saw the tickets were getting low, and I got to immediately.
You got to jump on that.
Yeah, but dude, when Acacia String came out, the crowd was so loud, chanting, like you could barely even hear them playing, and it was epic. It was epic. Yeah, the shows out here are nuts. I think anybody that has checked out our podcast before, right, they pretty much know that I moved out here from the East Coast, right? My wife's family's out here. It was kind of our last stop on our tour Day America after the military, but here we are, and I stumbled across this epic. It just doesn't even come close. The scene here is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean it's crazy good.
Yeah.
So I'm like super stoked to be going down to Bonds, and then that you've got me on the train now. I'm gonna have to find a Paper Tiger show.
Yeah. There's always something. That's why I love doing the podcast kind of thing. It keeps me, not wondering, but always involved in what's going on in the scene. Because there's always a show just about every weekend, big show most of the time at Paper Tiger. There's always like a big name band coming through.
Yeah.
And always trying to promote that and promote the stuff at Bonds with all the local guys and everything too. And plus they have they're gonna have Bonds are gonna have Pissing Razors. In the future here in the next month or two.
And they've also got Cauterized coming up.
Yeah,
soon.
Cauterized is going to be playing this weekend. Actually,
I just learned about. Yes, that's what I was about to say. Chancla Academy Rock Fest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to get out to that. I want to, but I'm gonna see what I got going on my plate. So
we gotta also. I think there's like a questionable weather situation.
Yeah. So
I'm running sound on the side stage for Chancla. Yeah,
okay.
I'm extremely excited about that. And stay tuned for our 5 whole minutes with the vocalist of Upon a Burning Body.
Ooh,
yeah.
5 minutes.
Took me a lot of drooling to get that 5 minutes.
Get it done, man.
But no, I am excited. They're local.
Awesome.
They're from here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just it's a good opportunity to pick their brain and
that's awesome.
let them know who we are and just make some friends.
Exactly.
That's the other crazy thing about San Antonio. For a city this big that also rocks this hard, everyone is real friendly, dude.
Oh yeah, man. That's the how they say it here, the Texas hospitality, man. It's always.
It is way real, y'all.
Yeah, it is.
It is way, and I'm from Virginia, where we pride ourselves in being country hospitable. You know what I mean? Nah, dude, it's not the same.
It's a different vibe in Texas, man. And
people be nice to you, and it's mean somehow here too.
Yeah, a little bit. They can be a little.
That's how good at being nice people in Texas are.
It can be, but no, man. I've lived in Texas all my life, man. I'm from a small town called Pearsall, and not about an hour and a half away from here.
Yeah.
And
I know you love it. You talk about it all the time.
Yeah, it's my hometown. It's the motherland, as they call it. So
you got family still there?
I still have family there, and my buddies Mute, Texas. They're from there, so and Mute. Funny story about those guys. I tried out as a drummer for them years ago. And when they first started getting going, and obviously that didn't happen. But we joke a lot too, just like the other night too, because their drummer Callie, he was supposed to be here, but Des is like, man, he wanted to go to Disney on Ice with his kids or something like that, and I'm like, yeah. And it's like, hey man, and Des is like, hey man, get ready, man, you're gonna be on the drum soon. I'm like, don't start that shit. Don't start that shit, man.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you what, man. In every case, and I mean every case, especially in death metal bands,
yeah,
the drummer is so hard. It's so hard to find one that fits, man.
Oh yeah. Those are the dime a dozen kind of guys, man. I mean, I've met a few here in town, and I mean they're up there with a lot of the guys that you hear on the mainstream.
Yeah,
stuff, like,
yeah.
You know, and they just bring it every night, man.
Yeah.
And what I've seen, talent is abundant here.
There are there is one I can think of. We won't talk about it, but that might be the only one out of the, I don't know, man, 30 shows I've been to this in the past year, right? Where it was just kind of like, you know, you could tell that we were dealing with some really green dudes on stage. Every single other band has just crushed it. I mean, nailed it out of the park.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, like, the scene that I grew up in Lynchburg, Virginia,
Right.
we just did not have the infrastructure. We didn't have the White Rabbit, you know. We didn't have Bonds. We didn't have Vibes and the Rock Box and that type of stuff. The bands here and the kids playing the music here, and now adults playing music here, are seasoned to that. They're used to the limelight. They're used to this, the flashy, shiny, pretty, look cool stuff, right?
Right.
And it's intimidating. It's intimidating to, I mean, I've got people that I want to eventually get out here, right? From Virginia to, there's some boys up north in Michigan that I'd love to get out that I've just started talking with. Yeah. And I show them pictures and they absolutely love it. And you can tell when nerves are going because the questions just start rolling.
Yeah.
So do we need... Nah, man, dude, just bring what you got. Everything's cool. It's very relaxed here. Right. And then the second they meet me in person or Rhett, they immediately know it's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, the guys from out this way, first shows for them are Bonds. Yeah. And let's dissect that really quick. Okay. Bonds has a shitload of lights that they run professionally. Oh, yeah. The sound in Bonds is great. Wherever you play, you're gonna have stage monitoring. Dude, I can't tell you how many shows that I played in Virginia where it was just amps and drums. Yeah. And then like a shitty PA speaker so the vocalist had something. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. It's just nuts, man. There's so much opportunity out here for metal bands.
Yeah, that's the beauty of here, man, opposed to anywhere else. I mean, and that's the best thing I can agree with you on that is that you're going to have here in San Antonio especially, I mean, sure, Austin, you know, they pride themselves on the music scene out there and everything, and Dallas.
The metal scene is better here.
Yeah, the metal scene is better here. Over there in Austin, you have a eclectic mix.
It's a wide array.
It's a lot of wide array stuff, you know.
Come and Take It Live does kick fucking ass, though.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
But with here in San Antonio, I think the vibe of the whole thing is that I think they have their finger on the pulse of what's gonna be the next thing. Right. And they're willing to give younger bands a chance to get out there and try to make a name for themselves. Yeah. Which is kind of the idea of my podcast as well. I interview a lot of guys that are just starting out too, like not even a year into their careers. Yeah. And they just played their second show or something like that. Yep. And I'm all for that. And I push that. Yeah. And that's what I think Bonds and a lot of the places here do that too with the local guys here.
Yeah. They'll bring them in.
They'll bring them in and then they'll expose them like, hey, this is what you got to work with. Yep. And this is what you're going to do. And it's up to you to bring the crowd. Yeah. Bonds, they'll advertise it for you and they'll provide everything, but you have to bring in the crowd.
Yeah, they do. They incentivize that smartly too. Yeah. We won't go into stuff like that, but they do a very good job at maintaining accountability on the band side. Yes. But then also when you do perform, they reward you for that.
Oh yeah, they do.
And it's great. Like for example, anyone that goes to Bonds is going to know this. So I think we can mention this. when I went into Bonds, the first thing I was asked is, who are you here to see?
Yeah.
Every time. You tell them, they put a tally beside them. And from what I understand, a bigger percentage of my ticket money goes to that band that you tell them you're there for. I love that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's hard for me to choose one because I'm always there to see everybody.
I try to pull that same shit.
And I'm like, well, are you sure? You know, they start asking me at the door. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But no, I mean, if I have a favorite, I'll say who it is. But everybody's my favorite. So
Right. Oh, I know, dude. I'm the same way, man.
I try to be an equal opportunity fan. So I'm just, I'm there for everybody, and I'm there to enjoy it for the most part for everybody and give everybody a chance.
Well, I tell you, I mean, honestly, I don't have a clock in front of me, so I don't know, but it feels like we're coming up on like 30 minutes or close. So let's go to question 2. Okay. 2 questions in.
Right.
So the other thing I was real excited about speaking with you in particular about is that you do a podcast. Right? Not only do you do a podcast, it's local and it's about metal.
Right.
So we had to do this. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It was in the stars, man.
Yeah, it was just in the freaking stars. I remember when you hit me up, you're like, hey, is it all right if podcasters come? I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure about that because I was like, oh, man, maybe... I forgot who invited me to it, but I was like, man, I think this is just going to be for, like, musicians or something.
It did look like that, to be fair. Yeah. Like, the Monster Metal Mixer, it definitely did. And then, plus, we had a band that we're going to demo. It was... What a great mixer, though.
Yeah, it was.
But I'm glad you came out because... So, question 2 is kind of a 2-parter. I want to know how long you've been doing the podcast, but what I really want to know is when you had that moment, and I'm going to try to describe to you what that moment is, where you knew you were going to do something related to music and San Antonio based, right? I want you to kind of just tell me what drives your will to continue on with the podcast. What makes you excited about running a local metal podcast?
Well, I started this podcast I started the Richie T portion of the podcast in January of 2021.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I started this about close to about 2.5 years ago. So, I started doing that as a way because to go back into the story a little further, I started a podcast with a buddy of mine named Mark. Hey, Mark. What's up?
Hey, Mark. Mark up, here.
I'm with another one.
Yeah, dude. There's Marks everywhere.
Yeah,
that's
and
another
he's been my
thing.
best friend since high school.
Nice.
And we're metalheads growing up together and stuff like that. So so we started a podcast, and we got the idea from another friend of ours out in Arizona at the time. He's no longer with us today. God bless you, Ryan. Oh, yeah. Wherever you are, brother. And he had his own podcast, and I was a guest on his show. And we, it just sunk into me. Like, hey, we can start this. It sounds easy enough to do,
and fun, right?
Fun,
you just get to talk about music the whole time.
Yeah, but it wasn't really about music at the beginning. With Mark, we started this thing called Man Cave.
Okay.
Which was, we talked about music, we talked about sports, we talked about
just everything,
every little nook and cranny that men go through, and what men like, and yada yada yada. Right?
Yep.
So we did that for a couple months, and then after a while, Mark couldn't give the time that he wanted to.
Oh, it's very time consuming.
Yeah, because he had a 9 to 5, and he's traveling all over the United States, and now he has his own veterinary company, kind of with the machines and everything like that he fixes, and he has his own company now. DK Vet Solutions, gotta give you a shout out. So he couldn't commit the time, and then he was like, well, bro, man, just do your thing, dude. You continue this, call it whatever you want, and go, because I know you want to do your music thing. Yeah. And you're always passionate about the music. And I'm like, okay. So, January of 2021, that's when it switched. That's when it switched to nice. the Richie T Podcast, and at first, I started doing, before I even got into the interviewing part of what I do now, I started off slow. You start off, with ideas. Getting your little green on the inside. You don't know what to talk about half the time. And I just started doing like, well, this, let's do a top 10 of my favorite bands of all time. And
perfect starting point,
right?
Oh,
Then we move on to drummers and bass players and guitar players.
There's so many. You can break it up so much, dude.
Yeah, he can.
Me and Red had the total opposite problem. We ended up with like 3 hours of footage. Dude, we just talk, man.
Right.
We just talk. And we'll go from hemorrhoids to Vakken. Red's always bringing up Vakken all the damn time.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, we try to stay on topic and it just never
works.
Well, because it's like we've got that connection where we were in the military together,
right,
and that fosters unreal amounts of stories. You
right,
know what I mean? But then we both really do love the music.
Yeah.
So once that starts going, then we're down a whole nother gateway into oblivion.
Right.
But no, I do know what you mean about like one of the things we went through as a new podcast. We're actually in it right now. This is going to air before our next full episode.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did was we did our first few episodes, kind of put the feelers out to make sure the interest was there.
Mm-hmm.
And man, the response we got and are still getting is just crazy awesome.
Yeah, I'm following you guys.
Oh, thank you. We're following you too.
There you go.
But yeah, so we rolled with it. We did 3 full episodes, and we started putting the next ones together. And we realized we filmed one in here, and me and Rhett were watching it, and we were kind of like, yeah, this is going to be the new us. Like we need to take our mulligan at the beginning, take the time to get our production down, and really put a stamp on what our podcast looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
So we're close.
Yeah.
We're about maybe a month out from full episode releases. But yeah, man, we're really doing it up. We've had a great time doing it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. You've been doing it way longer than us.
Yeah.
Our first one was maybe 4 months ago.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started the podcast in 2021, and we just I felt I started getting stagnant with the whole top 10 thing, or just the little mini kind of shows that I was doing. And luckily I had
it was getting a little boring.
A little boring
for you.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this needs to do something else.
Right.
And I knew I had on my phone, because I record everything on my phone through my Anchor app, and I had the option of I can bring in people to interview. And I was like, well, I've never interviewed anybody before. I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute. Were you doing it on the Anchor app on your phone?
Yep.
We were wondering about that. That is cool that you can bring people in, though.
Yeah. You can bring it in, and all they got to do.
Does it call their phone?
No, well, actually, how it works is if I request somebody, I just ask for their phone number.
Nice.
And I send them a text message, and they just click on it, and
they're in.
They're in.
That's awesome.
So and I've done it a few.
Spotify for podcasts now.
Yeah, no.
we also use it to release.
Yeah. So that's what I'm using today.
You can freaking Anchor. You know what? Shout out to Spotify and Anchor.
Yeah,
FM.
exactly.
I mean, dude, you can straight up monetize very easily.
Yeah.
And that's another thing we're big about here is when you talk about for the bands, we're currently having to kind of redo how we price things. But we make sure that the bands are taken care of, and we know kind of what the going rate is out here for what level of band.
Yeah.
And it's just a good community on that side too. But back to Spotify and Anchor.
Yeah.
So they hit me with an email about 2 weeks ago and was like, record an ad for Spotify to add to your podcast.
Yeah.
And every time it gets played, you get like a quarter of a penny or something.
Yeah, I'm up to 124.
Oh, nice.
So
dude, I got some releases on Spotify.
I got about 32 cents coming.
Hey, let's drop the knowledge, man, because I'm telling you, it's no joke. I had, what was it? One of my buddies had upwards of like 15,000 plays on one of their songs on Spotify, and got like around under $10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's but what people are really searching for there is that viral.
Yeah.
When it really goes viral, you start getting 100,000, 200,000 listens.
That's the thing, though. But getting back to what I was saying about
sidetracked.
Yeah, I get you though. We'll touch on that again. But as far as the interviewing, how that started with me, I had a good friend up in the Abilene area.
I'm starting to love that area too.
That's
Soothsayer.
Yep, Victoria.
And hey, I was gonna wait, but I gotta ADHD him again because he's right. Soothsayer came out here, crushed this place, and we got Victera on Ultimatum night before that Ragnar show.
Yeah, I got a decision to make.
Yeah. Anyways, back to your side.
I had a friend of mine from high school too that she was living out there in that area, and Abilene, nice. And she Ana Laura Hernandez.
Hi.
Hey. No, and so she hooked me up with some bands in the beginning to talk to
right,
and to get it, because she does a lot of promoting herself and she does a lot of stuff for up north too, and I got a lot of those bands to do my show.
Nice.
And I was and you know and then it just clicked with me after that first interview I did with the band Macabre Eternal. They're a death metal troupe out of Arlington. And
oh wow, way north.
Yeah, way north. And that's the beauty of my show too. I include everybody from everywhere. You know, Abilene.
God, if you're
DFW.
talking about Texas, that's like a country, man.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of my early promotions. This was the original Texas metal podcast.
Yeah.
And that's what I built this brand on. And so I went with it. And I want to include everybody, not only from San Antonio, from Austin. I've done Austin bands. I've done a Houston band. I've done people from Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Let's do a Abilene, Dallas-Fort Worth double combo on July 6th.
Yeah.
Make your way out here, man.
Yeah, we can definitely do something.
I'll give you a ticket, and if you want to come and talk to. But yeah, that's awesome. And there you go again with just like that super duper ingrained local level involvement.
Yeah,
we preach on almost every episode, man. It's like you get artists that come up to you. Maybe they come in and record. Maybe they do a mix. Maybe they want to come and shoot a video or play a stream. But then you start catching these hints, and you'll hear them say things like, "Yeah, we're just waiting for that break," or whatever. You know what I mean? But I tell people all the time, you got to make your own break, and the way to do that is to be involved. Go to the shows.
Yeah.
Buy a shirt.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, spend $25 one night and buy a shirt.
Yeah.
Wear that shit everywhere.
Yeah.
You're covered for 6 months.
Right.
Exactly. I'm now creating the 6-month band shirt rule. You buy one shirt every 6 months, I will high five you.
Right. Exactly. There you go.
I will.
We'll give you one of these.
Yeah, we'll give you a super tall one of these bad boys. I mean, it's what has to happen for success. Right? I mean, people can look at that however they want, and it's kind of a sad reality. But in order to keep,
in order for you to make your name, you gotta do what you.
In order to keep a ball bearing rolling, you gotta grease it up, and that grease costs money. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's all part of that machine, as they always say.
Yeah, it's a part of the machine. So yeah, man, and so we, and that's where the bug got in me to interview a lot of bands. And that's why I enjoy going to Bonds and to festivals and to, and a lot of the times I just show up.
Yeah.
I just show up and I just introduce myself and say, hey, I'm Richie with the Richie T Podcast. I'd love to interview your band, man.
That's what it takes,
dude. And sure as shit, they say yes.
See, you know what? Everybody that's watching this that's ever asked me, Mark, how do you do it? Look, I'm not a preacher anymore, man. I got another guy that I just met last fucking week that is saying the same thing. You have to go. You have to talk to people.
It's all about putting yourself out there.
That's it, man. And you're gonna get a lot of notes.
Oh, yeah. And I've gotten my fair share.
Oh my God, yes.
Hell, I've gotten bands,
or just being ignored.
Yeah, or that too, and the fact that, and there's some bands that didn't even give me the time of day.
Yeah.
I mean, and that happens. Yeah. But it's okay.
I would rather those.
Yeah.
I would rather those. Because you just move on,
just move on to the
keep
next
doing
one.
your thing.
Just try, but nothing against any of them, and I'm not mentioning any names. But,
oh, no, I mean, dude, just as busy as we are, they have their own objectives. That they're doing. And, you know what? Perfect timing. Smoke break. All right.
The colors, man.
I know. Dude, I'm telling you. So one of the things we got to do, Come and Take It has like this smoke generator.
Oh, wow.
It just constantly pumps like a little bit of smoke. Because after Soothsayer, we we learned our smoke lesson.
Yeah.
We smoked everybody out of here.
I saw the footage.
It was great, but that was a one-time, one-and-done type of deal.
Right.
So what we were talking about, before we get on to the third and probably final question, is we were talking about how long you've been in it. So you were talking maybe around January 21.
Correct.
Which is definitely way longer than we've been going. We'll get there. But then we were talking about what you loved about it, why you like talking to the lower level local guys who are really, they're the ones running this machine.
Yeah,
they're the ones going to all the bigger shows and buying up all the merch and buying more beer than you can possibly imagine. A completely unhealthy amount of beer. But I think that's where we kind of left off. You definitely, it seems like your start, or one of the earlier on places as far as bands go, was the Abilene area.
Yeah.
And you were saying that you worked with Soothsayer.
Yeah.
Let's go there a little bit.
Well,
we love those guys.
Yeah, I love those guys too, and you know, I have a good relationship with those guys and gals. Now, I met them at a festival in San Marcos, and we kicked it off pretty good.
Also, Ragnar's
on the compound.
Shout out Ragnar's on the compound.
Yeah,
I'm seeing them everywhere.
Oh man, they're really great, great staff out there, and so working really hard to make that place legit.
Nice.
And
sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. Outside stage is awesome.
Nice.
PA out there is awesome. The inside stage is awesome.
I was wondering. So they do have an indoor-outdoor.
They do have an indoor and outdoor stage.
Nice.
And they've just made some renovations out there, and it looks really well put together. And I can't wait to get out there again. So.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I met Soothsayer back on a Texas Domination Festival in 21, I believe. And I just interviewed, like I said before, on the spot, kind of introduced myself, and they knew me from social media, and I was reaching out to them a lot too at that time, and kicked it off. It was really good, a really good interview at that time, and then it was really fun, and we had a good time, and we've been friends ever since on that show since then, and then I did an interview with them. Again, a follow-up interview.
That's how you know you crushed the first one.
Yeah, about 6 months ago, I would say, and that was before the '99 song came out.
Yeah, dude, that 1999 jam is killer, dude.
Yeah, so we hit it off then, and we're all still friends on the socials and everything, and I try to push those guys. Every time they have something new come out, and same with all the Abilene bands that I've interviewed, Dallas bands I've interviewed, everybody that I've interviewed on my show, and has put out new material since their interview, I've always played again.
Nice.
I've always told everybody, and this isn't just for Soothsayer or anybody else specifically, it's for everyone. If you have a song that I've featured on your show and interviewed you, and you come back to me in 6 months, hey man, we got another song, I will play it.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Hit them up. Maybe that's how we can structure a little bit of a machine of our own.
Yeah. Exactly.
We kind of do stuff like that, playing local bands, and even like nationals. We just jam
I do the same thing. I mix a lot of national stuff in there too, and I've done a lot of the big four, so to say, Exodus, and all the main hitting guys, stuff like that. But that's and to answer the question of what keeps me going, it's that precise thing. It's the love of the music that I have, and the belief that I have of everybody that's doing this thing right now in music. Going to practice during the week, working a 9-to-5 job, going on tour to go to play a show in some odd city that's not paying them worth a damn. The typical
sleeping in the van
kind of shit. I live vicariously through them.
Yeah.
You know why?
Oh God, me too now, brother.
No, because years ago I had a band myself.
Yep.
And I didn't achieve my dream.
Yep.
And this is something for me to work with bands that I have nothing but love and respect for.
You can play a different role now.
Yeah, I play a different role now.
Yep.
I'm not what you call a radio DJ by any means. I'm not the best speaker in the world, but at the same time, I have a very passionate love for this music. It's gotten me through the hardest of hard times and the easiest of easiest times.
Could not say it better.
And
couldn't say it any better.
And that's what I talked about on my last podcast. You know, what metal has done for me. And it has not only got me through the highs and lows of life, but it's also given me something to look forward to in life. And this is my calling right now.
Yep.
And this is what I'm focused on right now. And
Yep.
that's the true love and appreciation that I have for each and every one of these guys that I feature on my podcast, or at the local shows, or here, anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I just love it all, and
Yep.
and I want to be a part of it. And I just want to just say that, you know, you guys that are out there, that are watching, that are listening, just know that I'm always there for you, and always there for your band, and I'm always going to be your fan first, but most importantly, I'm also going to be your friend.
Yeah,
And,
I was gonna say, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll vouch for this, as a matter of fact. You know, without going into too much detail, I was real surprised meeting Richie last weekend at the Mixer, just because of some of the topics that came up. He's not kidding, y'all. I mean, you know, talk to this man, get to know him. He can do your band a lot of good, get the stuff that you guys want everyone to hear out there. And who knows, man, maybe you got other shit going on that y'all just spark up a conversation about, and now, bam, you're on a whole nother train of thought,
Yep.
and starting to really make some headway on that way to being friends.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And I think that's the most important thing about the music scene, or
I was
or
just
the metal
about
scene.
to say, it's
It's
crazy.
not only friendships, but you know, the word family comes around
a whole lot out
and
here.
and I'm also, you know, and that's why I've dubbed my podcast the RTP family, because
That's awesome.
everybody that has been a part of my journey in this little thing that I didn't think that I was going to even, I'm 121 episodes going to be, you know, coming up soon. You know,
Man, we gotta catch up.
And I didn't think I was going to make it past 25.
Yeah.
You know, because that's how much doubt I had.
Yep.
But now, going on 3 years, over 120 episodes, you know,
just slaying through.
I'm just going through it, you know,
Yep.
and I'm loving every minute of it. And to each and every one of those bands, I want to say thank you, you know, because without you guys, there is no me.
Oh, for 100%.
And I'm not trying to sound braggadocious or nothing, but it's true. It's the truth.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I love each and every one of those guys, and I can't express my gratitude enough, you know, and that's because I want to help you guys,
Yep.
and I want to help the community. I want to help the metal family.
I mean, honestly, same exact boat.
Mhm.
We came out here with a dream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I didn't even come out here with a dream. I discovered this dream
Right.
once I fell in love with this city, right?
Right.
But it's the local guys. We started up Wavestream Live, which now is just pumping, dude. I'm loving just the support from everybody out here.
Yeah.
I think everybody comes in, they really love the space and the environment, and it's just getting to be a beautiful thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But without your Lone Star Massacres,
Mhm.
your Agonies that played our second stream, we wouldn't be doing this. You know what I mean? And I think the start where you're reaching out and you're really just throwing your dick out in the blind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then finally someone's like, we'll do that.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful thing, man. And I can't wait to watch this place grow. I can't wait to watch your pod grow.
Yeah, man. It's still growing. It's
likewise.
Yeah. We're in toddler phase now.
Man.
But yeah, man. I mean, I enjoy what I do, man. I enjoy putting together shows on a weekly basis, and just gives me something to do. You know, I mean, and not saying it like oh, I got to do it again. You know, I can do it at any time I want. But but the point is, when I start doing it, I get into a mode of I got to make it this way. I gotta outdo my last show.
Yep.
I got to make people, you know, come back and listen to me again, and listen to these new bands, listen to these new songs that they have out, listen to the new Metallica songs that are coming out, you know, and all these other things. You know, I'm trying to make everybody get involved in music and loving music again, because sometimes people get jaded, dude, and people get, like, oh man, I gotta fucking, do this again, and and go to a practice again, and
it
becomes
that
like a
circuit show.
Yeah, it becomes more of a job.
Yes.
And we don't want music to be a job. We want it to be fun. We want it to be happy. We want it to be, just an expression of ourselves.
Yeah. I agree.
And that's the beauty of it right there.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. It's just, and I'm telling you, I've just been all over. You know what I mean? I've been all over. I've been to shows all over the world. I think I've talked to you before. Like, I caught Tenacious D in Korea one time. Shit was it was nuts, dude.
That's awesome.
But I just have never.
I got dude.
I have never experienced the type of support that I've just seen out here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just second to none. And I just really agree and sympathize with everything that you said, man. It's without the guys trying to make it, you wouldn't have the guys that made it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It could be the next big thing, man, and we just don't know it yet.
Yeah. I tend to believe that there are a lot of next big things that we just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
And honestly, dude, it makes me so pumped.
Yeah, it does.
It makes me so pumped.
For me too. It does.
I have a lot of good feelings about the future here for a lot of people involved in this scene. And I, for one, cannot wait to watch it bloom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's as we are working on a budget with cameras that are gonna die,
right?
Let's move to this last question because it's one that I tend to be finding myself talking about a whole lot, and everybody wants to know, especially people. I've got some buddies in Nashville. Huge music place.
Oh yeah.
Huge music place. And I'm always the one to spark up a conversation about a show. Be like, man, yeah, I caught freaking cattle decapitation the other day. And they're like, oh yeah, we went and saw Britney Spears and it was great. But I always get asked, why metal?
Why metal?
Why metal? I'll go first if you want.
By all means.
I'll go first. Metal. I remember, I'm trying to think of the year. It had to be 03 or 04, maybe 02. My high school buddies are going to roast my ass for this, for not knowing. But I remember I want to talk about the first ever show that I went to and the second ever show that I went to. The first show that I went to was with a band that I was in. All of us as bandmates went out to this place called The Cleaners. Everybody in Lynchburg is going to be like, they're going to be like, oh, we know The Cleaners. So they had a stage in there. It was probably the most professional place we could play at the time, right? That people could book shows on the metal side. So I was in high school, first ever local metal experience. I didn't even know that local bands played metal like that. Like with the screaming vocals and just all of it. You know what I mean? So we went out there, and I was in absolute awe for like the first band or two. One of the other bands gets up there to start playing. I can't remember who it was, and my guitarist, Alex, was standing on the edge of the pit that had gotten formed, and somebody hit him in the nose with like a haymaker, broke his fucking nose. So we all left. Like, he literally went to the hospital. They hooked him up for a broken nose. And that was that, but... So that was my taste. I was like, man, that was kind of fucking awesome. You know what I mean? So then all your classic metal bands started happening for me. I think I went to see Metallica in 2004 at Roanoke Civic Center. It was epic. Super awesome. They were on tour with Godsmack. And just a great time. And my love for metal was growing, right? So the second show. The second show was a house show. We called this house the Whorehouse. Shout out the Whorehouse.
Not just a play on words.
This local band from Lynchburg called Everything Falls Together. They rented or owned this house. The world may never know. But they packed out the living room with a bunch of people, anyone that would show up, and just jammed out in there. They had like this one back light, a white one and a red one, and they could step on these pedals and it would like make them go off. So, dude, I went, the first show I caught there was this band named Cassius Clay. The singer of them is now the singer in Volumes. So they played this living room. I don't know if it was this night or not, but Cattle Decapitation really did play that living room. And I can't remember if it was the first time I went, though. But it was definitely epic either way. And then, of course, Everything Falls Together. And I remember Cassius was great. But Everything Falls Together was like the local hometown band, so everyone was in the room for them, and they were just fucking throwing their guitars around, and it was so beautifully evil in there. Like, I just remember as a kid, just a rebellious, it was probably the worst place for me to be. As the rebellious teenager that I was.
Standard blueprint.
Yeah, exactly. It fits the bill, right?
Fits the bill.
But I just remember being in there, and there was a moment, like one of those moments you always hear about, where I was like, this is what I love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's everything. So now, let's take the experiences that led to me loving the genre, and I'll tell you why. When I listen to metal, and you can get down and dirty with like lyrical bands, Killswitch Engage is a very, very uplifting, pump you up type of band, right? From everything from their instruments to the vocals and the lyrics, everything. So for me, when you get that epicness, that either that heaviness in a breakdown, right? All you new guys, I know, breakdown. I know. I'm old, I still call it a breakdown.
So I've been calling it a breakdown for years.
Yeah, dude. It's either that breakdown feeling, or you got some thrashy like, you know what I mean? It pumps me up.
Oh yeah.
It pumps me up, and I'm honestly more of a music guy. Like I could go vocalist on almost every song, and if the riffs and the melodies are hitting, I could listen to that for months and not even. But once you develop your palate, that's where the kill switch is. Howard Jones is one of my favorite vocalists of all time. And now Jesse Leach is back with them. And he's great. Saw them at the Coliseum too with Lamb of God. It was awesome.
I got to see Kill Switch here a few 100 years ago.
Bro, they never disappoint. Saw them at Blue Ridge with August Burns Red too. It was a great show.
I think they opened for Slayer that night.
What?
Yeah.
Kill Switch, Engage, and Slayer.
And I think it was the tour that I think Adam D he wasn't on guitar. They had Pat Latchman from Damage Plan.
You know what? I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
What? Why?
I think he had a surgery or something.
Oh, okay.
Like
so
it was
kind of
just
routine
like
shit.
a routine thing. They just had Pat Latchman from Damage Plan, and he was in Rob Halford's band for all those years. And they had him playing guitar.
I was about to make an idiot of myself because I know that the whole Damage Plan Pantera thing. Yeah, scratch it. But yeah, dude, it pumps me up.
Right.
That's the bottom line. Back to like the why metal.
Yeah.
I get the feelings that I get. There's just like there is with every other genre. There's metal for every mood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If I'm seeing math problems in my brain, Animals as leaders. You know, boom, ba-ticka-bing, ba-ticka-bing, boom, boom, boom. I mean, if that's not a math problem, I don't know what is.
Hell do you do?
Yeah, if I'm feeling super angry, maybe I'm gonna throw some Body Snatcher on.
Yeah, right.
If I'm feeling like some epic shit just happened in my life and I'm loving it, I'm busting out the kill switch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't know, man. I don't know if the whorehouse was that defining of a moment or if I was just always destined to love metal. But that's why for me, man.
Yeah. On my end of it, why metal for me? It's just growing up in a small town. It's basically a product of the environment for me. And
dude,
and
coming out here, I can totally understand that.
And growing up, small town, hardly any jobs, stuff like that, just typical small town life and stuff. But you had your friends that were the go-to guys that were like the old school Iron Maiden. And mind you, I think I have a few years on you, so maybe. But we'll see. No, but I had a lot of older friends that I had back then that were into Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Sabbath, all those.
Priest just did a double at the Tech Court, I think.
Yeah. They were just there, and I grew up a lot of growing up with those guys and gals there, and that's kind of got how my whistle got wet, so to speak. So
hair metal, baby.
Hair metal days, with my cousins and all that other stuff. So my older cousins, and I got into all that. That was kind of like my first taste of it. But then, as I grew older, and when 1989 came around, I was 12 years old, and I heard. Well, I was at that time too. I was kind of into hip hop and rap, gangster rap, and all that stuff too.
Weren't we all?
Weren't we all?
Yeah.
Right? And
I was actually just born in '88.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So yeah, I got
but
a few years.
I do know.
So yeah, so you know, so I was listening to a lot of that at the time, and then my buddy Juan, his brother Orlando, he introduced me to, hey man, if you like rap, you know, he told me, hey man, if you like rap and metal and rock, you should listen to this Anthrax.
Oh, you snuck it on me.
Yeah.
I swear, I thought you were gonna say Insane Clown Posse.
No.
Okay. All right. Cool.
No. He goes.
Also, just played the Techport Anthrax.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. We had 2 tickets. We ended up sending Hondo, and I think him and his girlfriend went out there.
Okay.
I had some other shit I had to do, but he sent me pictures of their fucking stage setup.
Oh man,
dude, I love neon.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for like neon shit, and Anthrax's setup looked awesome.
Yeah. It was a great show, man. I'll tell you about that.
Oh yeah. Here we go again.
Yeah, but no. My buddy's brother told me about Anthrax, and they had a single called "I'm the Man," and I was like, okay. So I
am the man.
I am the man.
Right.
So I went out and bought the cassette. You know, back then the cassette.
Oh
know,
yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know, we all had them, and so I bought it, and I'm the man, haha, funny shit. And then, but it was the other songs on that cassette that kind of interested me more in what Anthrax was about.
Yeah.
And they were a hardcore thrash band, and they did a song called "Caught in a Mosh," and it was recorded live in Dallas. And I was like, and then
it's one of the jams. They played that.
Frankie's bass solo.
Hondo sent me a video of that song from the show.
Yeah. And so I was like, ooh, you know, I was like, you know, kind of that, and
because of the energy.
Yeah, the energy and the vibe of it, and I was like, ooh, this is interesting. And then that's what kind of got me on that path. But then Metallica's "And Justice for All."
Here we go.
The video for One. Saw that thing on MTV.
And what about
it?
But it's more than that.
Yeah.
It's more than, because it's the combination. You
Yeah.
get the epic video, and then out of nowhere, it's almost like a School of Rock.
Right.
When Jack Black is like a thin layer of smoke.
Yeah.
Then you hear bone out, oh now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just, dude, that's same here, matter of fact. So
Yeah.
2004 first concert, like big show, Metallica. Yeah,
So,
dude, I caught that.
So so Metallica, Anthrax, and then later on came Megadeth. You know, the big four. Slayer came back in 1990 for me.
It took me a while on Slayer.
Well, when I first heard in 1990 War Ensemble from the Seasons in the Abyss album, instant fan.
Yeah.
I was like, and then from then on, man, since 1988, 89 to now, you know, I've been a metal fan, metalhead, whatever you want to call me, you know, and it's, you know, and the music itself, not only like you were talking about, you know, it could be a lyric here or a guitar riff here, or you know,
or a
whatever.
Sick ass drum fill.
You know, Charlie on Caught in a Mosh. You know, you know, that's what hooked it for me was the drum.
That's right. You said you were a drummer. Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, I want to do that. You know?
And it's rare to catch the metal perspective from a metal drummer too.
Yeah.
Metal drummers are just unicorns, man.
Yeah, they're a dime.
Yeah.
They're a dime.
Yeah.
So you know. But yeah, man. So you know, that's what got me going to want to pursue music and to be a fan, full-time fan.
Yeah.
And nothing else mattered. Not you know, and it's just not a Metallica song. It's a way of life.
I was searching deep for a pun. I was gonna be like Metallica.
But no, and like I said, it was a product of my environment, dude. You know, and when you come from a town where there's nothing going on,
oh, dude,
you have to do what you can to survive.
People underestimate the community involved in metal,
right? And you have to find the people that are going to be on your level.
Yep.
And some of it was, you know, happy times, some of it was angry times, and some of it was sad times, and some of it was everything all at once. You know, and so, you know, you find those people that you can that you become family with, you know, and most of those people that I grew up with are my family today.
Oh yeah.
And my friends today.
Oh yeah.
And I
the people I talk to from back home are all people that I played music with.
Yeah.
And every single one of my buddies from the military, you start talking about Mark Tomlin, they will immediately tell you like, oh, music. music, you know what I mean? Specifically metal. Earlier today, I was talking up, shout out Turbo, to old Turbo, my roommate, and he was like, he sent me this band. Damn. Of course I'm not going to be able to remember it. He sent me this band, and it was some fucking, like, it was some type of shit that I like to play, like some just real freaky, evil shit.
Right.
And I was like, Turbo, you are totally becoming a metalhead, dude. Like, this is no entry-level shit.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, dude, honestly, when I heard this song, all I could think about was waking up, hearing you blasting some guitar riffs in the barracks. I was like, well, that makes total sense, because this is, like, right up my alley, dude.
Right.
I love this shit. But, dude, metal just tends to leave a mark.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and it left a mark on me since I was a kid, you know, like I said, and it just made me want to just, you know, see where it went, you know, and it made me want to pursue, like I said, you know, pursue music and try to pursue music anyway. And I did. I you know, I call it a mediocre success.
Sure.
You know?
Oh, dude, same here. Yeah.
But at least I found later on in life, you know, now being 45 years old, and still listening to music that's moving me and making me feel something.
Yep.
You know, and there was times, you know, that there was a lot of times where I didn't feel anything.
Oh.
And
trust me,
you know,
I'm getting it.
Yeah. So
I get
so
it.
you know, and I'm glad today that I can sit here and have a conversation with you about it, and to, you know, shout out like we've been, you know, to all the bands that I've come across, and still feel something.
Yeah.
And still feel like I'm 12.
All right, so
So
for the first time, because we didn't fuck it up at all.
nah.
Look, Richie, it was a pleasure having you on the show today. If anybody is interested, it's very simple, super easy to find on social. The Richie T Podcast, spelled right, exactly, spelled super normally. Look for his awesome, sexy mug. And then shoot him a message. He's super easy to talk to. I really couldn't have asked for a better guest today. This was a great talk, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, man, and thank you again for your hospitality once again, man. Thank you to Wavestream. Thank you to War Drum. You and Cliff, everybody, man.
Thank you to everybody.
Man.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to everyone. God, look, the first time go, we get it so wrong on the first go every time. It was a pleasure. If you're watching us for the first time, check out the rest of our episodes on YouTube and Anchor FM. Stay metal and have a good night.